The collapse of a glacier in the Swiss Alps. Almost an entire village is swallowed up.
And the Swiss village of Blatten has been partially buried after a huge section of glacier broke off and crashed down into the valley. The village had been evacuated due to fears that the glacier was disintegrating. And there are no reports of casualties, but many homes have been completely destroyed.
A Swiss mountain village has been partially buried after part of a glacier broke off and crashed down into the valley below. Concerns about the stability of the Birch glacier meant Blatten's 300 residents had already left their homes 10 days previously. One person has been reported missing following the collapse.
Now, this was the village of Blatten in the Swiss Alps just a few days ago. That was before its 300 residents were moved out of the area after geologists said there was a danger of a glacier collapsing. And yesterday, that happened, and the resulting landslide meant millions of tons of rock and ice came roaring down into the valley. Most of the homes in the village were crushed in seconds, and the river Lonza flooded. You can just see just a few roofs visible here. Well, now a huge dam has formed behind the debris, and the authorities fear that if that breaks, a tidal wave could destroy other villages. Imogen Folks sent this report.
The village of Blatten is centuries old, but in seconds it was gone. 3 million cubic metres of ice and rock crashed down into the valley, destroying everything in their path. It was the worst-case scenario. No one had predicted such enormous violence, but the authorities had evacuated Blatten's 300 residents last week after geologists warned the mountain was unstable. Now there is a new danger. The vast mountains of debris are causing a flood risk.
Key worry now is that millions of cubic meters of water sitting there, and the scenarios are unclear of how could those masses of water impact the rocks and glacier that sits in front of it, and potential scenarios for the villages that are further out of the valley of Lötschental.
Of course, everyone here wants their life back. The authorities have promised that Blatten will be rebuilt. But it will be months, maybe even years, before Blatten can be lived in again. Right now, the situation is so precarious, a proper clean-up can't even start.
Across Switzerland, there is shock. 2/3 of this country is mountainous, and people here are used to risk. But the huge violence of the disaster in Blatten has caused real fear. People know the glaciers and the permafrost are melting faster than ever, and many are now wondering how safe their traditional alpine life really is.
There are dozens of communities like Blatten right across the Alps. Now they are looking up and asking themselves who might be next. Imogen Folks, BBC News, in the Swiss Alps.